Yep, the camera's rolling, and I'm lost in thought. I'm just thinking about what we're going to chat about today. And I think I want to chat about the fact that I need to take some apps off my phone. Huh. Well, it's a common thing, right? Everyone talks about that. Also, let's paint some orc. Greetings, good humans, and welcome to Tabletop Alchemy, where sometimes we continue painting an orc that we've been painting for a while we chat about some random topic that I just wanted to chat about. That's what we do here. We do whatever I want to do. That's what this place is. It's my narcissistic palace. On that note, we also thank our patrons for hanging in there while we paint a figure over the course of a month that should, probably take 4 hours. Anyway, we're going to continue on with this sort of let's chat while we paint something sort of theme that we got going on for a little while. While, some things are crazy and schedules and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about. You got schedule problems too. Don't even, just leave me alone. Okay, I'm going to be painting the orc here. I don't know which side. Nope. This side. I'll never get that right looking in the monitor. Anyway, get the orc going. I don't actually even remember what I did in the last week or so on this guy. I think actually though I ended up putting in maybe a little more than 2 hours this week. I might have put in 3 hours, possibly even 4, even though it's not going to look like that. There's things that you're going to see me doing here, and there's some repainting you'll notice if you pay close attention. There are certain areas that I painted one color and then I kind of reinforced the color, or I painted over it with a ink to make it slightly different color. But I can't really comment on it in real time because it's just the stuff that I did over the last couple of hours that I had during the week to work on it. And you know what? I've been thinking that maybe when this figure is done, I will probably do I'll probably do a cheat episode where I actually do a painting video about this figure, and we'll go into all the details and stuff that I did. While now we're just chatting, put me on the background or just, hang out and watch very, very slow painting happen. I mean, it's not exactly as boring as watching paint dry. Don't answer that. Okay, so what I want to chat about today while we slap some paint around, I thought I would tell you a little story about a weird allergy that I have. The allergy is flaring up all of a sudden from another instigator type thing. So this is all about social media, obviously. Duh, that's what the thumbnail said, right? Okay, I mean, I assume it said something about that. I don't know. I haven't made the thumbnail yet. So future me might just go, wild and make something crazy up. I have no idea. But we're ostensibly talking about some social media issues, which I know is not a new thing by any means, but I was on Facebook like everybody was back in the early 2000s, whatever, in the early 2010s, whatever. I still remember exactly when I closed my account, and it was in 2014. And I remember just one day I was in my little studio apartment on Miracle Mile in LA, and I sat down on my computer and Facebook opened up in a web browser, and I saw the phrase, so-and-so account pokes so-and-so account, and I got physically ill. I had like a nauseous reaction all of a sudden, and I was like, I can't look at this anymore. I cannot look at Facebook. And I closed it, canceled my account, and I've never actually gone back. At that point, I kind of phrased it in my head. I was like, I kind of felt like I had like an allergic reaction to Facebook. I don't know if it had anything to do with, the color scheme, the design, or just the fact of what the social media, what it was. It was kind of I don't know. In my mind, in my memory, it was sort of the beginnings of that sort of infinite scroll type of thing. Now, I had vaguely used like Instagram back then. They weren't owned by Facebook at that point. And that was fun, everybody had fun initially with Instagrams, like taking pictures with your phone, putting filters on it, that was cool. But I didn't I didn't use Instagram like constantly scrolling or looking at stuff because I just wasn't that interested in people's shots of dinner and food and things like that. But I just remember that moment that I shut down Facebook and got out of it. Because I had like a physiological reaction to it, which I always thought was very strange. Now, a few years later, I was kind of getting into the Reddit thing where I was reading a lot of Reddit on like my iPad and stuff. And I started to get that allergic reaction again to the infinite scroll, to all the comments, and just sort of, it's kind of similar. I mean, it was probably like a sensory overload, kind of when you go into a supermarket and you see a giant aisle full of like breakfast cereals, and the aisle is like 4 miles long, and you just keep walking, you're just seeing all these logos and all these images, the boxes and everything. And it's all cereal, and it's just like, it's a little much. I don't know if that happens to you, but it's happened to me sometimes. Anyway, so Reddit kind of hit me with that weird, I was having a mental allergic reaction to the infinite scroll. And I had to log off Reddit, and I haven't really gone back. I use Reddit sparingly now, and only through a web browser when I'm searching for things. Obviously, a lot of times when you do Google searches or web searches, Reddit results will come up, and I found valuable information there from time to time, but I cannot go to the Reddit site and just scroll infinitely. I can't. I actually feel like I'm pretty lucky in this regard, because I can't scroll like Instagram. I can't scroll it for more. Like, I look at Instagram kind of every day, but only for like 5 to 10 minutes at a time, and maybe only 4 or 5 times a day or something. That might be an overestimate, but I can't do, at some point, just scrolling, the fact that there's no end to it just overwhelms me, and I just start to get a little nauseous, and I have to turn it off. I've literally tried TikTok once when it first came out, and I put it on, and I was like, I already knew I wasn't gonna be able to really scroll TikTok, and I absolutely cannot turn it on. I can't look at it. It just makes me kind of ill. And again, like I said, this is probably a bonus in life for me, right? Probably a lot of people wish they had some sort of weird allergic reaction to it. Yesterday, I started to get the same feeling with YouTube on my phone. I look at YouTube, I watch YouTube quite a bit, actually. Surprise, surprise. I mean, we all do, mostly, right? But with the advent of Reels, which I know happened a couple of years ago, but now, they keep sort of redesigning the interface, the UI and stuff, and what you see, and more Reels are coming up into my feed, and the Reels are horizontal, and then the full-length videos, and then also mixed into the full-length videos are posts, which are like photos and stuff, and commentary sections, and then there's polls, and it's just like, yesterday I got hit with the same feeling I had with Facebook, but I didn't close out I didn't like delete my YouTube account or anything, obviously, but I turned it off. I was like, I was sitting there looking at it on my phone, and I was like, all of a sudden I can't scroll this anymore. The very idea of scrolling made me kind of ill. So they've hit that threshold now for me, whatever that threshold is. I do a lot of YouTube watching in my lazy boy, in the living room, in front of the TV. Now, that also has an infinite scroll, but it isn't the same as like on a phone, right? Or an iPad. The interface is different when you're looking at YouTube on a television. At least I'm watching the YouTube app on my PlayStation on the television. So it has like an array of horizontal videos, and then you can scroll down, of course, but it's like, new videos or featured whatever, but they go horizontally, and they aren't necessarily infinite. Like, I can scroll through the horizontal thumbnails and kind of reach an end to the scroll at one point. They'll probably have like 40 or 50 videos there. Maybe that's, somewhere between 20 and 40 videos. And then you reach like the end of it, and then that's all there is. You can refresh it or whatever, but then you can scroll down. So it's not quite as bad, and I'm using a game controller, so I'm not just sitting there just going one after the other, right? I can kind of see an array of videos. I can pick one that I want to watch or whatever. So it's not quite as bad. I'm just sort of becoming overwhelmed. I mean, we all are. This is all common knowledge. YouTube used to be the one that I could always go to and just watch. And now I'm just, there's just so much There's so much garbage on there, which we always know. We always knew there was garbage. Of course, 99% of everything is garbage. Yeah, I get that. But it's harder now for some reason to get away from the garbage or to sift through it. And I don't have the fortitude to do that. And you couple all this with the idea, there's so much AI garbage that's coming out. There's so much nonsense on there. There's so much media manipulation. And when I say media, I don't mean what people say when they talk about the legacy media, because I think that stuff's kind of dying. I think now we can use the term media to mean YouTubers of all different genres, whether it's, corporate news stuff or just YouTube channels that are, showing weird stuff, but they've got their own nonsense going on. There's just a lot of nonsense, and it's really hard to sift through it. And it's hard to maintain, the idea like this is just for entertainment. I'm going to watch a couple of things for entertainment. Everything is trying to grab, your frontal cortex and grab it and say, look at me, stay here and give me your attention. And I'm just sort of, I'm sort of recoiling from that. And which I think is a healthy response, and probably all of us should feel that. There are creators on YouTube and on other social media accounts that I enjoy their content, but I'm so overwhelmed by what the algorithm is showing me and what YouTube channels are trying to do to get me to click on their videos that it makes me just kind of not want to engage at all. There's so many there's a channel that I actually kind of like the content the creator creates, but the thumbnails and the clickbait titles is so constantly the exact same doom and gloom sort of a thing, where you just, there's this whole idea of okay, so how many times have we seen a thumbnail that says blank blank changes everything? Blank blank blank, this changes everything. Everything is about to change. We've seen that on thumbnails every day by the hundreds for 2 years, right? It's been one of the things that was a trend on YouTube. It gets people to click on it. Even when you know that it's just a clickbait thing, or the content creators just, maybe they have valid content, but they got to put something on the thumbnail to get you to click on it. And so they put, quote unquote, this changes everything. I'm so sick of it, man. I'm just so sick of it. I'm sick of the this thing is over. That's another thing you see on a lot of thumbnails. Games Workshop is over. Dungeons and Dragons is over. That's it. This is it's just so much nonsense. And it's really driving me nuts. We'll see how far this experiment goes here. I don't know what what I'm getting at ultimately with this ramble. I just know, man, with the more AI stuff that comes out, the easier that stuff gets to use, the more that stuff is being pumped out and just dropped online. Each step we take into the future, this future with AI and stuff like that, and the idea that we just don't know what's real, what's not real, who do you trust? I don't know. I feel like there's a science fiction book in my head, a story about how in the near future we might all sort of follow the model of the Amish in the future, near future, because of this whole idea of not knowing through the lens of technology what's real and what's not real. It's almost like society's going to have to collapse back down to these smaller communities where you interact with other people face to face. And anything beyond a face to face interaction, you simply can't trust. You simply won't know if you're really interacting with a real person or not. Or if a story you hear or news you hear, or whatever is shown on your social media or on your phone, on your computer, is real or manipulated or not. You've got AI bots that are filtering down through Reddit and can, just by the nature of how they conjugate sentences, literally influence the choices that human beings make. They can change people's minds through just text on a screen. And I don't know how we get away from that stuff. I don't know how you combat it. I don't know, other than becoming sort of techno-Amish. And maybe we just have these small communities where we're just in these sort of little fiefdoms, these little, little city-states, even cities kind of too big of a term, but little villages. And we use technology for machines and physical things to help us, what am I trying to get at? Technology that isn't just on a phone. We use like machinery technology and whatever. And sure, we still use computers for certain things, but we're just going to have to not use social media. We're going to have to literally not use long distance communication, which is very strange. Maybe we have to drop back to old technology like ham radio or the post office. Handwritten letters might come back because you can't spoof that yet with AI. So I don't know. There's a lot of things to explore here. Some fun, story type stuff that's interesting and whatever. I don't know. We could talk about this for hours. And I didn't work on this orc for long enough. What is the current feeling out there about social media? Because something feels like it's changing. Something in the substance of the platforms themselves, so that the visual, the thing that we look at on our devices, something in there is just changing and not for the better, which, is obvious. People have talked about this for years. Anyway, go paint something. Listen to a podcast. Turn off this video, but keep the audio on. I don't know. I will see ya.